My name is Alex, and I used to deliver food for one of those big app services. I quit after what happened 2 summers ago. I don't think I'll ever take a delivery job again. It was a Friday night, busy as hell. I was bouncing between orders, the car filled with the smell of fried food and pizza grease. Around 11 p.m., I got a notification for a drop-off in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of the town. The map guided me to an old house, the kind with peeling paint and a sagging porch. The order name was just C. Miller. When I pulled up, the porch light was off, but the front door was open a crack. The app said, "Leave food by the basement door." Well, that struck me as weird. Most people wanted food at the front. I checked the chat. "Please take it around back. Basement door. Don't knock. Just leave it." I walked around the side of the house. The yard was overgrown, weeds up to my knees. The basement door was just two rotting wooden doors leading down a short flight of steps, the kind you'd see in old tornado shelter. One door was already propped open. The light from my phone barely reached the bottom. I set the bag down at the top of the stairs and turned to leave. That's when I heard it. A voice from the dark, low and raspy. "Bring it down, please. I left the light on." I froze. The order instructions had said not to knock, just leave it. Something about the voice made my skin crawl. It was too close, too eager. I forced a laugh. "Sorry, man, app says drop at the door. Have a good night." I started backing away. The voice grew sharper. "Don't leave it there. Bring it down." I didn't answer. I walked quickly back toward my car. As I reached the driveway, my phone buzzed with a new message from the app. It was from the customer. "You forgot something." Attached was a photo. My car, parked at the curb, taken seconds ago. My stomach turned. Whoever or whatever it was, they were watching me. I jumped into the car, locked the doors, and peeled out of there, food still sitting at the top of those basement stairs. I drove 2 blocks before pulling over, heart pounding, trying to breathe. Another bus, another photo. This time it was me in the driver's seat, eyes wide, looking straight into my own phone. I whipped my head around, but the street was empty. I reported the order immediately. Support said they'd escalate it and not to worry, I wouldn't be penalized. The next day, I checked the delivery history. That order was gone, like it never existed. I told a couple of other drivers about it, and one of them went pale. He said he'd heard of that address before. A few months earlier, another driver went missing after a basement drop-off in the same neighborhood. Car found abandoned, food still inside. No trace of the driver. I don't know who or what lives in that house. All I know is that sometimes late at night, I dream about that voice. Low, raspy, coming from the dark. "Bring it down. Don't forget anything." My name is Daniel, and I live alone in a small apartment in Phoenix. Like most people, I order food delivery more often than I should. Late nights, too tired to cook, I grab my phone, tap a few buttons, and wait for the knock on my door. Simple, routine, safe. Or at least it used to be. It started with a promo notification. Contactless delivery. Order now and save 20%. The pandemic had made it normal to leave food outside the door, no interaction needed. Perfect for someone like me who hated small talk with strangers. I placed the order, watched the little map as the driver made his way, and eventually I heard the knock. By the time I opened the door, the driver was already gone, my food waiting in a brown paper bag. Normal. The second time, I noticed something odd. Tucked under the receipt was a Polaroid photograph. It showed my door, from the outside. I laughed nervously, figuring it was a joke or maybe some quirky promotion. But when I checked the receipt, there was nothing about a photo. I shrugged it off, ate my food, and forgot about it. A few days later, I ordered again. Same app, same restaurant. The bag was there when I opened the door, and again, another Polaroid. This time, it wasn't just my door, it was me, standing inside, visible through the blinds of my living room window. My stomach turned. I hadn't noticed anyone outside. I told myself it had to be a coincidence, maybe an old photo printed by mistake. But deep down, I knew better. I contacted the app's support, explained what happened. The rep apologized, offered me a coupon, and promised to look into it. They never followed up. The next week, it happened again. Another Polaroid. This one was closer, angled upward, showing me sleeping in my bed. The blinds were tilted shut, but the lens must have slipped between them. My mouth dried. Whoever was delivering my food wasn't just leaving it. They were coming back, watching, waiting. I stopped ordering delivery for a while. Stocked up on groceries, forced myself to cook. But late one Friday, after a long shift, I gave in. I ordered pad thai. The map showed the driver circling the block 3 times before finally pulling up. My phone buzzed. "Your order has been delivered." I crept to the door, heart racing. When I opened it, the bag was there. But this time, there was no Polaroid under the receipt. Relieved, I picked it up, shut the door, and carried it to the kitchen. That's when I noticed something scrawled on the side of the bag in black marker. 5 words. "Stop moving the blinds, Daniel." I dropped the bag, ran to the window, yanked the blinds wide open. The street was empty. No car, no footsteps, nothing. Just the still night air. That night, I barely slept. Every creak of the building felt amplified. Every shadow felt like it was watching. By morning, I convinced myself it had to be some cruel prank. Maybe a hacker messing with the app. Maybe even a friend trying to scare me. But then I remembered the photo of me in bed. That wasn't a prank. That was someone inside my apartment. I changed my locks, bought a camera, even taped black construction paper over the windows. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. I let myself believe it was over. Until last night. I came home late to find a single bag sitting outside my door. I hadn't ordered anything. My stomach dropped as I picked it up. No receipt, no restaurant logo, just a plain bag, grease stains bleeding through. Inside was a stack of Polaroids bound with a rubber band, dozens of them, all of me, brushing my teeth, watching TV, sitting at my desk, sleeping. Some dated weeks ago, some from last night. The last photo was different. It was taken from directly above me, looking down as I slept. On the back, written in that same black marker, were 3 words. "Look up, Daniel." This story comes from my time working at a small family-owned pizza shop in upstate New York back in 2011. It was the kind of place you'd miss if you blinked while driving past. Neon sign in the window, cracked linoleum floors, a few red booths that always smelled faintly of garlic and fryer oil. We had regulars, Friday night rushes, and the occasional drunk college kid ordering at 2 a.m. For the most part, it was uneventful. Until the complaints started. The first came on a Wednesday. A woman called, furious. She said she'd opened her delivery and found, alongside her pepperoni pizza, a child's toy car sitting in the box. At first, we thought maybe your kid dropped it in there before she noticed, but she swore she lived alone. My boss, Tony, apologized, refunded her, and brushed it off as some bizarre mistake. 2 nights later, another complaint. This time from a guy who said he found a set of keys inside the box, pressed right into the cheese. Not ours, not his. He was so rattled, he demanded we never deliver to him again. We checked the kitchen cameras. Every pie went through the same line. Dough, sauce, cheese, toppings, oven, box, out the door. Nothing unusual. No one slipping anything in. But the complaints kept coming. A week later, I took a delivery myself. Big order, 3 pizzas, breadsticks, soda. Dropped it off at a house on the edge of town. The family who answered was polite, tipped well. I drove back, clocked out. The next morning, Tony called me in early. That family had phoned overnight, panicked. They'd opened their pizzas and found hair. Long strands of dark hair twisted into shapes, pressed into the cheese. Not sprinkled on top, baked in, like it had gone through the oven that way. We deep cleaned the kitchen, checked every surface. Everyone wore hats, gloves, aprons. There was no way that much hair could have gotten in by accident. The ovens were spotless. Still, the next order that went out, placed online by an address no one recognized, came back with another complaint. This time, a small Polaroid photo baked into the crust. It showed someone's front porch at night. Not the customer's porch, just some random porch. None of us recognized it. That's when things turned. Deliveries weren't just getting complaints. Customers were reporting people outside their houses. A man in a hoodie standing at the end of the driveway when the pizza arrived, sometimes closer. One woman said she pressed her face against her window while she opened the box. She never ordered again. Tony called the cops, but there wasn't much they could do. They told us maybe it was a disgruntled ex-employee messing with orders, except no one had quit recently, and all of us were accounted for. Still, Tony set up cameras throughout the shop, even in the prep area, pointing straight at the ovens. We watched every frame. Nothing. Just us making pizzas, normal. But the complaints kept coming. Stranger and stranger. A slice that contained a small rusted padlock. A calzone stuffed with photographs of sleeping people. Breadsticks wrapped with strips of newspaper from the 1980s. Every time, the items looked baked in, fused with the food, like they had always been there. The worst was a Friday night delivery. Family of 4, regular customers. We sent them 2 large pies. 20 minutes later, the dad called, voice shaking. He said when he opened the box, there was no pizza at all. Just a VHS tape sitting inside, greasy and warmed from the oven. The label had one word, play. Tony brought the tape into the back and hooked up an old TV. The footage was grainy, handheld. At first, it showed our shop, the front counter, the booths, the kitchen. Then it cut to each of us, one by one, filmed at home. Me brushing my teeth, Tony sleeping in his recliner, another cook walking his dog. None of us had any idea we were being filmed. The tape ended with a shot of our pizza oven, the camera inside it, flames licking at the lens, before cutting to black. That night, Tony closed early and told everyone to go home. We never reopened. The building still stands, boarded up, the sign faded.
People in town say sometimes delivery bags still show up on porches, warm to the touch, even though no one ordered. Inside, instead of pizza, there are strange objects, family photos, house keys, children's drawings, things that don't belong to anyone in town. I still live nearby. I don't order delivery anymore. And sometimes when I drive past the old shop, I swear I can smell garlic and fryer oil in the air, mixed with something sour, something burnt, like there's still something baking inside, waiting for the next order to go out.